There she was, a 1970 Volkswagen Beetle, rusted to oblivion, slumped on deflated tires, and looking more like a tetanus shot waiting to happen than a car. Her name, which I decided immediately, was Betsy. Why? Because she looked like she needed a name as much as she needed a miracle. I bought her for $500 from a man named Earl, who swore she ran great before she sat for a decade. I chose her because my dad had one just like her when I was a kid. Those rides to the ice cream shop, the sound of her engine chugging along like a content lawnmower, they were part of my childhood soundtrack. Restoring Betsy was my way of reconnecting with those memories. Betsy's floor was more whole than metal. Her paint job had faded into an artistic interpretation of rust chic, and her engine smelled like burnt oil and disappointment. But hey, I'd seen enough YouTube tutorials to think I could handle it. Spoiler, I was wrong. The first challenge? Removing what I thought was dirt but turned out to be an ecosystem. There were spiders, big ones. I screamed. They didn't. Taking Betsy apart was like performing surgery on a loved one, with zero medical training. Every bolt was rusted shut, and I invented new curse words trying to loosen them. At one point, I found a family of mice had made the back seat their vacation home. Let's just say evicting them was a low point for both of us. Replacing the floor pans felt like giving Betsy new legs, the engine rebuild. That was like performing open-heart surgery, while blindfolded. I replaced the wiring harness, which felt like untangling Christmas lights, except these could set your house on fire if done wrong. Then came the paint job. I went with a classic baby blue, a nod to her original color but with a modern shine. Watching that glossy coat dry was like seeing her come back to life. The new seat smelled like fresh leather, and the steering wheel felt solid and reassuring in my hands. Installing a tiny bobblehead dog on the dashboard was the finishing touch. It was frivolous, but hey, Betsy deserved some personality. The day came to start her. I'd triple-checked every bolt, wire, and connection. I sat in the driver's seat, heart pounding, and turned the key. At first, nothing. Then, a cough, a sputter, and finally the unmistakable, glorious sound of a VW engine chugging to life. I laughed. I cried. I may have hugged the steering wheel. Betsy was alive. Our first drive was magical. The wind whooshed through the open windows, and that unique Beetle engine hum filled the air. It wasn't just a car, it was freedom, nostalgia, and accomplishment wrapped into a four-wheeled package. Every bump in the road reminded me of the journey we'd been through together. Betsy wasn't perfect. She still had her quirks, like the slightly sticky clutch, but neither am I. That's the beauty of restoration. It doesn't erase imperfections, it celebrates them. As I pulled back into my driveway, I turned off the engine and gave Betsy's dashboard a gentle pat. She wasn't just a car, she was a second chance, a tangible reminder that anything, or anyone, can be brought back to life with enough love, effort, and maybe a little cursing. So if you ever find yourself staring at a rusted heap and thinking, is it worth it? Let me tell you, it absolutely is. Because sometimes, saving something old isn't just about restoration. It's about transformation.